So picture this, 50 good-looking street-style cars in Ireland, door-to-door on a tiny Japanese-feeling car track. Teams, style, noise, smoke and good atmosphere. This is Tanoshi Dori, a dream we've chased for over 10 years and it finally happened. What's going on, guys? We finally did it. After more than a decade of dreaming, me and the lads at the shed pulled off our own drift event, Tanoshi Dori, with the help of TS Drift Days. The name Tanoshi Dori itself is a little nod to the Japanese roots we've all been inspired by. Tanoshi means fun in Japanese, and Dori is the short slang word for drift. We just mashed them together into a playful phrase, kind of like saying fun drift as a nod to the culture that inspired us in the first place. We grew up watching things like Ikaten on Drift Tengoku, and they always dressed up pretty goofy and we're always having a good time, and the team aspect of that always excited us. Really stylish cars, good sense of humour. The Japanese have always had a great sense of humour, so we wanted to bring that kind of light-hearted feeling into this event. When we first saw the early days of the Final Bout events, we knew we wanted something like that in Ireland. We knew it was possible to have an event that felt like a Japanese event outside of Japan. The Final Bout day was a day that was built around style, team and friends, and it wasn't just hardcore competition. Back when I was younger, Irish drifting felt alive in a way that's hard to describe. The cars were more relatable. You'd show up to an Irish drifting event like Pro Drift or something and see machines with Japanese flavour that were sometimes fresh off the boat. Cool wheels, rare aero, wild colours, but still cars you could imagine building yourself or owning someday, and cars that were relatable to what you were watching in videos. The pits were jammed with incredible machinery and it was Ireland's golden era of car culture. Looking back, we all took it for granted. I was obsessed. Every event I could get to, I'd be there with the camera documented for Juicebox, snapping literally everything. I love seeing cars arrive on trailers, sometimes still road legal. The cars would have proper parts on them, Urus kits, Ganadors, 326 power stuff, rare wings, seats, all sorts. The pits and the car park were the same. I'd spend hours out in the car park walking around doing the car park watch, and I loved every second of it. All sorts of characters that really stood out. I just felt this was such an amazing time, and it's probably just me looking back with rose tinted glasses because I'm getting old, but it felt like a time that we took for granted. What's cool is the story doesn't end there. Ireland's competitive drift scene went on to become world class. Drivers like James Dean, Jack Shanahan, Conor Shanahan, people like Eric O'Sullivan, Dean Carney and Darren McNamara. These guys went on to dominate outside of Ireland. But as drifting evolved, I feel that the Japanese style that I enjoyed kind of slipped away. Parts from Japan got harder and more expensive to get, the supply in Ireland dwindled, and people started copying kits and just using cheaper alternatives to make things work. Tube frames replaced panels because panels did not exist, and fake lights stood in for real ones because people were sick of getting them smashed. And it all became about reliable affordability, because drifting is expensive, let's be honest. Suddenly then it was about 500 horsepower minimum RBs, JZs, and the sport turned into a more serious technical arms race, and many interesting cars like 8.6s and wildcard machines kind of fell behind and weren't really in the competition anymore. Also, people figured out the package that worked, so Wisefab, 1Js, all sorts of stuff like that. A lot of cars just ended up being built the same as each other to compete with each other, which happened all around the world. It's just the nature of the game to stay competitive. But I remember certain builds that shaped my love for Irish drifting and completely captivated me. Johnny P with his gold 180SX on Meisters that he had bought brand new and a genuine Urus kit, Adrian Walsh's with Tanabe wearing Mercury R Shinakuba car, James Dean's Blister FD when it was in the Nexon livery on XD9s, Alan Sinnett's insane SR86 on Equips, Brian Egan's badass Truno, and CR01s with Mark 1s on the back, and of course Christy Carpenter's Advan livery S15 on Gram lights. This car and a lot of these just looked like they'd rolled straight out of Japan, and that's kind of the style that I always gravitated towards. I could go on, but I think you get the point. Seeing stuff like this at events gave me butterflies. You'd walk the pits and dream about building something even half as cool, and the cars literally looked like cars that were straight out of D1 Japan. But look, being honest, keeping that level of style alive was nearly impossible. The scene had to evolve to survive, and it did, but a whole side of drifting kind of quietly started to disappear. And because I was obsessed with all these parts and cars, my interest in documenting the pro scene in Ireland dwindled, because I used to love looking at like weird wheels and cool parts and cars that really reminded me of the golden era, as I keep shitting on about, but that truly is the era that I love the most, because I feel like that's where drifting peaked in terms of style. I realised that I loved the creative look of the cars and the flair of the drivers just as much as the driving. And look, someone's going to watch this and be like, just shut up, Neil. But I get it. I'm not here to be that grumpy old guy that's like talking about back in my day. I'm so proud of what Ireland has achieved. Our drivers went on to be global, and our scene became seriously respected by people all around the world, and our best drivers have put Ireland on the map, and it's something that I'm so proud of, and I feel like it doesn't get enough airtime in Irish sports. They shit on about hurling and football and all these other things, but I think more stuff should be said about people like James Dean, who's absolutely dominated in Formula D for like 5 years. James has won the title. James is the nicest guy in the whole world. I've nothing but respect and admiration for him. He's one of the superstars of drifting, and I'm so proud that I know him as a friend, and he's somebody from, the southeast of Ireland. You could say the same then for Jack Shanahan and his brother Connor, and all these other guys that have put a dent in the world of drifting without even realising have probably been inspired by the insane drift culture that came to Ireland through Japanese cars. I'm so proud of these lads and everything they're doing for us in the world, and I'm so happy to see where things are going for Irish drifting. For me and my friends and people that have taken a step back from that, outside of the modern world of comp driving, I always felt there was more room for something else. A place for stylish drift builds, and for mates who just wanted to have fun, not just chase podiums and push the boundaries of drifting, just kind of capture the spirit of drifting. The fact that drifting is kind of a show as well. Like, I always think that, it's all about how cool the car looks as well as how well the car drives, and I do think you always remember those cars. And I think that things like Final Bout really put that together and made myself and my friends realise that that's actually possible. And you've got events like that now all around the world. You've got halfway hangs in Australia, you had Next Level in Europe, and you had Dory Fest in the UK. So the hunger is there for that, because I do feel a lot of people really do appreciate the kind of millennium drift style. And I guess, Final Bout every year is just reminding us that you can still push the parameters inside the confines of that look and style. So for us, this is where Tanoshi Dori came in. We wanted a space for the other side of drifting, the side I fell in love with, which was cars that almost felt like street cars, and the themes, the style and the fun. And I do feel there was a big gap for it in Ireland. I almost compare it to skateboarding. Some people chase contests and sponsors in the skateboarding world. Others just want to skate with friends. They film cool clips, and they're kind of they've got cool personalities. What they do is just as interesting as the competition stuff. And I think the drifting definitely has room for both, and I think both sides influence each other. A lot of the body kits and kind of the overall style and usage of cars that you see in competition, a lot of that was born on the streets or born out of just like fun, and then it kind of mutated into the competition aspect of things. The drift games guys and other people are doing really cool days, like they've got their invitational, and there is a lot of track days going on in Ireland. You've got JDM Classics, and we're very fortunate in Ireland with how much stuff we actually have, but there's never been an event, in my opinion anyway, which is just heavily curated towards all the really kind of cool cars to put them all into one spot. Everyone is always going to rock up to events and want to learn how to drive. I've had like a dodgy BMW, and everyone's entitled to learn somewhere, but I just wanted to create a place where you could have like 50 high quality cars all into one spot. For years we tried to make something like this happen. We tried to plan it out, we tried to get insurance. Logistics and insurance always absolutely destroyed us, and it became one of those one day we'll figure it out dreams. I decided to reach out to Tommy Smith from TS Drift Days. Tommy's been running brilliant events at Watergrass Hill for years, and everyone I know who's ever driven at his events said that they just run super smooth. Everyone's pretty friendly and things are just run super well, like there's no complaints. And Tommy uses Watergrass Hill, and to be honest, Watergrass Hill to me is magic, and you can see the whole track from one spot. It looks like a Japanese car track that's just thrown into the backdrop of Ireland, and that's exactly what we wanted for this event. We'd gone down to one of Tommy's days a few years ago. The lads all kept going out and driving together, and it was so cool to see a load of really cool cars all driving together that potentially could have driven home from the event. I mean, a lot of us did just drive down, we didn't have trailers or anything, and the feeling the guys got at that event hit them so hard that we kept talking about that event for the last few years. If we could just have a day where we have a load of cars that have a similar flavour all driving together. I reached out to Tommy because he was the guy that had done this event, and we pitched the idea to him, a curated, style-heavy, team-based drift day, and he really liked it. So we sat down and chatted about how we could make this happen. We were going to team up together. I'd bring the vision, the car selection and the feel that we wanted for the event, and Tommy would bring the structure, the safety, the track expertise and all the things that I didn't even think about. It would be a perfect partnership. When we opened the applications, it was complete madness. So we got over 300 plus driver entries, which is absolutely nuts. And it was really hard, but we picked the cars that fitted the Japanese-inspired, well-presented look and the most stylish cars that we knew in the country. And we picked them in order of people emailing us. So some people were pretty upset that they didn't get the invite, but we were going to go for 65 cars, but then it had to be capped at 50 just to keep things smooth and safe. What we did is, first come, first serve. So the first 50 cars that we thought fit the criteria of people that emailed us were the cars that got in. Like I said, we had another like 250 people that didn't get in, but I mean, there really was nothing we could do about it. It's a shame, to be honest, that we couldn't fit more people, because I can't believe how many people wanted to do this, and there were so many great cars, so I was kind of like a little bit bummed that we didn't get more space, but I'm just happy that we made this happen. Richie Horton live! Looking forward to the event tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm ready. I've been ready all week.
Yeah, look. Fucking plan B here with the bumpers.
So yeah, what happened was I was supposed to take delivery of my body kit and the new arches yesterday. Basically, that didn't happen, so we got a few hours notice. So we're taking it. We took off, the lads peeled off all the advanced stuff off my car.
Yeah.
So it's like 6 hours before we leave for the event.
Yeah.
And the lads are doing a full spray job here. Yeah, and I had all the wheels made up for the wide arch stuff. So last minute, we've had to spray bumpers, change all the tires, change all the wheels. But yeah, last minute shit.
Yeah.
The last job is to...
That's the last thing these lads wanted to be doing, coming over. They're loaded up.
Yeah.
But...
fair play to the lads, because I just would have went around with a can and went...
yeah, touch up.
Yeah, because when we pulled off the wrap, we pulled off loads of paint.
Yeah.
Loads of paint. But now we went to the shop and got graffiti cans.
Montana.
Yeah.
Look, it's all part of it.
Yeah. Black.
For the final mix, it was brilliant. Everything from newcomers who knew their way around the car on the street, and people that were ex-pro drivers. It felt like a proper cross-section of Irish drifting that doesn't always really get seen. It was the same for the show car side of things, so I wanted to fill the paddock and the car park with as many cool cars as possible to make it feel like it was years ago. We managed to pull that off. Again, we had a couple of 100 applications for the show side of things, but we could only cap it to 50 because we were extremely limited on space. But it was so cool that we had 50 super high quality cars in the paddock and 50 high quality drift cars. We had like over 100 really cool and interesting machines at the event. It didn't matter. People just I told people to bring as many cars as possible so they could just flood the car park. And the event really felt like something from Ireland's import boom golden era. Flip invited over our friend Patrick Prendergast, and he is one of the main judges for Final Bout. He brought the Final Bout touch and gave us an idea on what we would need to do if we wanted to do it the same way as Final Bout. So Final Bout, they do 50% for style on the cars and 50% for driving, and it forces people not not just to perform but to look right, which is a nod to drifting's roots, which was all about it being a great visual spectacle. We also got help from Eric O'Sullivan, who was running the Club Loose events in Ireland, and Eric has always had a similar vision to us, and it was an honour to have him judge the team event with us. We also got our friend Brian O'Keefe from The Shed, so we'd have a panel of 3 people so it would be a fair judging system. So myself and Patrick spent the morning walking the pits, chatting with the drivers and grading the cars that were competing in the team event. Some people didn't know that we were judging them, so we explained what it was. The event was a celebration of car presentation and driving. Hopefully help people level up if we do something like this again, but it was just to create an emphasis on, like, you know, your car has to look really cool as well as drive, because we believed that like drifting was a visual spectacle where things are supposed to look cool. So the format was simple and worked out perfectly. Morning was open practice where people that weren't in the team thing could drive, and you could go out with your team and practice. Then at lunchtime we brought all the cars out onto the track, which was super cool. People could walk around, get up close with the cars and the drivers and just really take some photos of the really cool backdrop at Watergrass Hill. Then in the afternoon then we had the team battles. Once that was over then we had seat time for the solo driver. So yeah, it was incredible at the lunch walk around. I didn't think people would have as much interest, but so many people went out to walk around. I think seeing that many well presented cars in Ireland that were all driving all out on track, Corollas, Skylines, Chasers, it felt like stepping into an old Battle magazine or Drift Tengoku spread or something you'd see in an old DVD. Usually track days are either casual practice days or hardcore comps, so you'll have a varied mix of people and driving skills. And this event felt like what we'd been looking at in magazines for years, but somehow we were after pulling it off in Ireland. And the battles were pretty crazy and highly entertaining. Teams like Team Fool with their JZXs, then you had the Club 4AGs with all the Corollas, then you had Team Redeem with Ruben, Josh and Adrian gripped up in the MX-5s from the UK and Cut Loose from the UK, with Eamon from Airshed jumping in. My brother kept the tunes going all day from upstairs on the balcony. We had good like drum and bass and other things to make it feel like an old PlayStation game. It was pretty awesome. And yeah, I think the fast-paced music just suited the driving. So each team got 3 runs. They had a practice run and then they got 2 that they were scored on. I jumped on for commentary for an hour, and yeah, definitely needed someone else to give me a hand with that as well. Wasn't trying to get too excited because my voice was gone from trying to talk to people, but I was trying to call out runs, explain what we were doing, hype the crowd and keep things going. It was pretty funny. Unfortunately there was one pretty nasty accident with Grant from Cutloose. His R33 took a smash, which was a shame. Nothing that can't be fixed, I hope, but yeah, it was just a bit of a sad thing because the guys had come all the way over from the UK. Seeing those cars, like that many cool cars that were that beautiful getting tossed around like that, was insanely exciting, and it made for very good entertainment. Our goal was simple: if we could achieve 30% of the feel of Final Bout, we would be happy. And standing trackside that afternoon, smoke hanging in the air, friends chasing friends, a lot of really good looking cars and an incredible atmosphere, I think we did it. Even Patrick told us, and he's been to a lot of these Final Bouts, that it felt pretty good and felt like we were after achieving our goal of making something that felt similar to Final Bout. What's really cool too is Monster Energy came on board for this event. They handed out cans all day and gave a year's supply to the winners. What's cool too, right, is Monster backed the original Drift series back in the day when it was Pro Drift, when it was really getting off the ground, and it's really cool that we had them in for this and that they believed in like a proper grassroots style event. Definitely felt like things coming full circle with how the event felt and then having them in as a brand back in what we were doing. But for us, yeah, Final Bout was the blueprint, proving you can celebrate style and friendly, fun and cool drifting as much as competition. We wanted to bring that golden era Japanese drift feel back to Ireland, and the response really blew us away. It was the most people they'd seen at Watergrass Hill in a long time for an event, so truly incredible. Yeah, the pits, the curated car show and the crowd, the atmosphere, even the weather, it was perfect. We were honoured to have people like Paddy McGrath, who's a good friend of ours, who's been shooting Irish drifting since the dawn of Irish drifting, to be at this event with us. And Paddy got some unbelievable photos. There's this photo where Team Fool are going into the bend and you can see just hundreds of people just looking on. And I'm so grateful for Paddy to come and shoot this event. It really meant a lot because I've looked up to Paddy for many years, and he's just been always the OG guy doing all the photography at drift events. So thank you, Paddy, for being a part of this. Same, I was honoured to have the Drift Games lads down. They wanted to be a part of the event. The guys helped bring the crowds also by promoting the event in their videos, so thanks so much guys for doing that. I really appreciate it. And thank you to everyone else that documented and shot the event. There's been some unbelievable footage coming out of it, and there's been some unbelievable photos and content, and it really does mean a lot to us. It's truly humbling that we managed to pull this off after talking about it for so long. People travel from all over the world. We had people from every corner: New Zealand, Australia, Canada, USA, all parts of Europe. We even had the guy that designed the merch for the event sourcing Officer of Graphics, he came over as well. He designed Josh's car too, and it just felt like a proper moment in the car scene, and it was everything we could have ever asked for. I don't know, like, we were nearly getting teary thinking about how great this event worked out. For me, this is exactly why I went full-time with Juicebox. Not just to make videos, but to create something real for the community that supported me for so many years. I didn't get to film much myself. I was too busy running around trying to help out with the day, and I knew that was going to happen. So huge thanks to everyone that sent me in footage and photos to put this recap together. I just wanted to make a reflection video. I know it's a lot of talking, but just for the people that were there and for people that weren't there, just so you get a feel and an idea of what this all was. We want to do this again, grow it, refine it, but keep it true to what it is. Fun with friends, a lot of style and no hectic pressure. Our own slice of a final bout or an Ikaten or a Doricon GP event right here in Ireland that celebrates the golden era of Japanese style and drift culture. A home for stylish grassroots drifting, and a place where we can all just truly showcase the best stuff that we have that's not necessarily competition. So thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for supporting Juicebox all these years. And yeah, here's to more days like this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Goodbye.